I'm very much privileged that I will be talking about children. So I would like to start my presentation with a personal experience of me. You see, there is a book in my hand. The name of this book is Shabar Bondhu Piku. This book actually is written by me, and this book has been awarded with UNICEF Mina Media Award for 2019 in creative writing for children. It was a great honor for me to receive the award from the hands of the eminent author of Bangladesh, Selina Hossein Appa. She was also in the jury board. After the event, we managed to talk to her personally, and I asked her, please tell me why this book has been awarded with the first prize. And she mentioned about a number of reasons. For example, she said that this book received the first prize because this story has a nice message blended with fun. The second reason was that this story spreads the seeds of social cohesion and peace. The language is very easy and clear. Fourth reason was that the illustration is very nice and the font size is very much appropriate for the target group. After talking about the book, she expressed that I wish all the children of Bangladesh could read this book. Then I asked her, please suggest me what we can do to make this book read by all the children of Bangladesh. At this question of me, she took a long pause. And then she said, Nishath, here lies the challenge. The generation of today are not willing to read books. So let's put our hand together so that we can create a reading-friendly environment in our home and community. And here lies the title of my presentation of today, Development of Reading Habit for iGeneration. iGen, I have mentioned iGen, but now I will go why I'm calling it iGen. What is actually iGen? This term is coined by Jia M. Toeng. She is the professor of the San Diego State University of USA. By this term, she refers to the generation who are born between 1995 to 2012. Actually, there are so many traits for information generation. For example, they are less interested to face-to-face contact. They love to be with smartphones. They are spending more time playing computer games. They are less interested in reading books, magazines, newspaper, and they are spending enormous amount of time using social media and smartphones. I already told you that there are so many traits, but I have identified these 4 traits because these 4 traits are actually connected with the presentation title of today. So we can understand very well that if these traits are prevailing among our iGeneration, it will be very much difficult for them to develop the reading habit. When I'm talking about reading habits, I mean those books which are out of the prescribed textbook. And in this presentation, I will be emphasis on those children who are actually studying in the mainstream education system. So the concern is that most of the children are reluctant to read books. You know, reading is one of the 4 basic language skills. And reading is a very complex process. It is said that reading is an active process of readers combining information from the text and their own background knowledge to build meaning. So comprehension is very much important in reading. Reading without comprehension or understanding is no reading at all. And at the same time, speed is also very much important. Now, the question is, why iGeneration is reluctant to read books? I'm sure you will be agreed with me that inadequate Bangla reading skill is one of the major obstacles why children are not growing their reading habits. If we look into the results of the primary completion examination, that is PEC examination, you find that the pass rate is very high. The pass rate is around 90 to 95% in the recent past, and same happens to JSC examination, that is Junior School Certificate Examination. But what the National Student Assessment Report says, it says that 88% children are completing their primary education without having the expected level of competencies in Bangla language. So if they are not having the adequate Bangla skills, they will never be able to develop reading habits. Then they are overburdened with academic pressure. You know that the early grades are very much important for building the foundation of reading, and the latter years are very much important to nourish their reading habits. But unfortunately, children in our country, up to grade 5, they have 6 books, but when they are going to grade 6, suddenly they find that they are having 14 books. So it is really challenging for them to tackle the challenges of the next grades or higher grades. Then lack of quality reading materials. When you are going to read, buy books for the children, you will find that there are lots of materials. But when you will find that there's very limited number of books that is full of quality. If the content is good, you will find that there are problems with the illustration. If the illustration is good, you will find that there are problems with content. If you are happy with content and illustration both, then you will find that the publication quality is not that much good. So it's a really challenge for us to find good quality reading materials. Then magical influences of smartphone, influence of social media engagement. I would love not to talk much on this issue because we all are aware about these problems. Then family preferences for reading academic books only. Since the pressure is very much high for the students, there are some families who do believe that it's better to complete the academic studies first, and then if there is time is available, they will go for other books. So this is the real challenge. So how we can overcome this problem? We all know that children are not growing reading habits. So what we can do? I would love to discuss in 3 broad categories. For example, we have to improve, or children have to improve their reading skills. Next, interesting and time appropriate reading contents. And thirdly, technology-based reading contents. Now, I would love to go in bit detail. You see, I have suggested some ideas. For example, development of reading skill. There is no other alternative but to develop the reading skills. You know that in our country, there are lots of intervention. For example, I can mention about the READ project, which was funded by USAID and run by Save the Children Bangladesh. I can talk about innovation for improving early grade reading activity project, which was led by BRAC and some other partner organization. But what is the result? We find that when the project is in, there is no continuation, or sustainability is a problem. So if the government can replicate some successful models in the mainstream system, I do believe that there are chances of improvement. Then the contents need to be aligned with the expectations of I generation. I'm sure you'll find that there is no much changes at the content level of the books. If we reflect on what happened, what were the contents before 50 years and what are the contents now, there is no much changes. But the mindsets of the children has changed a lot. They are thinking in a different way. So now it is the demand of the time to do some research. What is their expectation from the book? What do they want? So these areas need to be addressed. Length of the text, the I generation. I'm talking about the I generation, but what about us? We are also not at all willing to go through longer text. So the length of the text, we have to consider it. On the other hand, we have to read the valuable literature of the country. In that case, we can consider about concising the text, the length. Then development of new pool of writers. When we are talking about the writers, only few faces appear before us, like Humayun Ahmed, Jafar Iqbal, Anisul Haq, Selina Hussain. But who will come next? So it is very much important to develop a new pool of writers who can align their writing with the expectations of this new generation. And we have to patronize them also. Then development of contents, keeping it aligned with the age and competency level of children. Time is very limited, so I cannot explain that much. And then we have to respect the choices of information generation. We always believe that what they are thinking, what they are doing, their mindsets, there are problems with that. It is said by Adam Platter, who is the founder of I Parents 101 of USA, he said that this I generation, they are the native citizens of the digital world, and we the elders, we are actually the immigrants of this digital world. So clash is very common, but we have to respect the choices of this generation. Then parents should be the role models. They should read books, otherwise how the children will learn. And digital contents, personally, I am not very much fond of visual context, but if it is the demand of the time, if the children want that, they are loving digital contents, then definitely we have to respect their choices and we have to develop materials, digital contents. And finally, more investment for reading books. For example, you find a book in my hand. Whenever I sit in the Ekushe book fair stall, I find number of parents, they're coming and says that, what is the cost of this book? When I say this is 100 taka, then they say it's too high. But I find the same parents, they are entertaining their children at the food corner with burger or sandwich, which cost around 200 or 300 taka. So it is all about mindset and priority setting, and investment is necessary at every level, from at the government level and other sectors also. Everyone has to come forward so that more investment can be made for growing the reading habits of the children. I have almost come to the end of my presentation. What I want to say is that I am hopeful. I do believe that the purpose of reading should be pleasure. It is nothing to impulse. We should not impose any book for the children. The purpose of reading should only be pleasure and only be pleasure. So I am hopeful, and I do believe that there will be change. And at the end of my presentation, I would love to end with quoting some nice lines from my favorite poem, Rabindranath Tagore. He says, "Bhoy hote tobo অভয় মাঝে নতুন জনম দাও হে দীনতা হতে অক্ষয় ধনে সংশয় হতে সত্য সদনে জড়তা হতে নবীন জীবনে নূতন জীবন দাও হে।" ধন্যবাদ সবাইকে। থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ।